Aibowan, Vanakkam. I'm Vayoni Dimel. This is Boston Lanka News, bringing you news, views and entertainment from Boston and USA. Demonstrations in support of General Fonseka in front of Sri Lankan Consulate Office in Los Angeles. Sri Lankan Democrat in Las Vegas, Nevada, eyeing for a US office. The demonstrators, clad in black t-shirts, pleading for justice in Sri Lanka, picketed near the Los Angeles office of the Sri Lanka Consul General, condemning the military tribunal of Sri Lanka for giving a verdict against General Sarath Fonseka and demanded his freedom immediately. Issuing a statement, General Fonseka's daughter, Apsara Fonseka, who resides in the United States, said, "The government could take away whatever like medals and ranks, but the history has been already written. They cannot erase history." The demonstration was organized by Sri Lankans for Democracy, Freedom and Justice. Sanjay Cetera, who arrived in the United States 16 years ago to study at the Idaho University, is now set his goals to run for a state or federal office from the Democratic Party. He has been in Las Vegas for more than 10 years and has been a successful entrepreneur in the real estate and mortgage lending field. Mr. Cetera is presently the chairman of the Asian American Democratic Caucus of the Nevada State and the vice chairman of the Clark County Democratic Caucus. Mr. Cetera joins from Las Vegas, Nevada. Mr. Cetera, we know that you have many responsibilities in the Democratic Party in the state of Nevada. Could you please tell us what those are?
As the chairman of the Asian American Democratic Caucus, my main goal is to get the Asian American community get involved with the political process. We are trying to create a launching pad for the Asian Americans in our community to take part in U.S. politics and also find viable candidates to run for political offices. The caucus has been in existence for nearly 2 years. What we're trying to do is take the Asian American caucus into each and every Asian American community and get them involved in various political activities. As the vice chairman of the Clark County Democratic Party, my main goal is to retain the membership that we have and also do more member outreach projects.
Recently, you were instrumental in organizing an event in a Buddhist temple in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the Nevada Congresswoman Dina Titus emphasized the importance of U.S. working closely with Sri Lanka. Could you talk about some of her interests in Sri Lanka?
Well, this is the first time any elected official visited Sri Lankan community or Sri Lankan Buddhist temple here. We haven't had any elected official ever visited Sri Lankan Buddhist temple here. So we made an effort to get her down here as part of the re-election campaign for her to get to know the constituents in her district who are Sri Lankan. First of all, we identified Congresswoman Dina Titus would be the winner of 2008 congressional race, and we wanted to give her an update on what was going on in Sri Lanka at that time, especially with regard to the terrorism. When she came to us in 2008, early part of 2008, she was willing to listen to the Sri Lankan concerns once she gets elected to Congress. And she has been given many updates about the Sri Lankan situation to this date, and she has been a great ally for Sri Lankan efforts in defeating terrorism. So we thought of thanking her in a way and also recognizing her efforts in keeping an open ear and open eyes about Sri Lankan situation. Her views in Sri Lankan situation is pretty clear. She has expressed to us that United States needs to take a more proactive role in development of Sri Lanka after the war, and also we cannot make any judgment on the Sri Lankan situation. So that's the good news. We are trying to target one congresswoman or congressman at a time in a sort of lobbying on behalf of Sri Lanka right now.
We understand that a group of US congressmen have written a letter to the Secretary of State requesting her to get US to play a more active role in investigating the alleged human rights violations by the Sri Lankan government. Could you comment on that, please?
I have heard that there are 57 lawmakers, congressmen or congresswomen have signed a petition and handed over to Secretary Clinton to take a more active role in probing the human rights violation or war crimes. Now, keep in mind, 57 is a small number compared to the 435 congresswomen or congresswomen in the Congress right now. It's a small fraction. Now, we have to understand the LTT has a very strong lobbying arm that is out of Sri Lanka, and they have been doing a good job propelling these congressional delegates to come out and say these things. Sri Lanka as a whole has to take a very proactive role in reaching out to United States Congress to find out what role they can play in redevelopment in Sri Lanka. We cannot alienate United States, and United States should not be alienating Sri Lanka. The roles have to be vice versa. So what my thoughts on this is, as Sri Lankan Americans, we have to take a more proactive role to reaching out to our congressional delegations and tell them what's the true story in Sri Lanka.
There is a perception that Obama administration is more sensitive to the concerns of LTTE lobbying groups. What do you think about that?
I don't see that as such. I think the Obama administration has taken a very strong stance against terrorism all over the world, especially what their stance in Afghanistan. You can see that they are committed to eliminating terrorism as a whole. But what happened in Sri Lanka and how they are portraying, how especially the lobbying done on behalf of LTTE is a different matter. So I don't think the Secretary Clinton is going to be persuaded by 57 lawmakers to have a different probe in Sri Lankan situation. United States has enough of all their own problems here, and they are not going to be committing to another situation in Sri Lanka. We are a strategic partner. We are seeing that from a report that was published sometime back. I believe it is in December 2009. That was the Kerry and Lugar report. Was a very comprehensive study done in Sri Lanka, and it basically says the Sri Lanka and U.S. relationships have to foster for long term, and we all play a strategic role. Especially the Sri Lanka plays a very important ally for United States, and U.S. will never alienate us as long as Sri Lanka takes a proactive role in engaging the Western world.
Thank you, Mr. Cetera. That concludes our news edition this week. We meet you next week with another news edition of News, Views and Entertainment from Boston and USA. Till then, goodbye.